Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new episode for you. This is going to be a super fun one today, and I'm excited to see what we get into on this Friday. Hope you all have had an awesome week. It has been a crazy week here. It's been a crazy last couple weeks here. If you've tuned into the podcast the last couple weeks, then you know life has just been wild. Business has been wild. We've been getting to see just a bunch of positive things happen right now. That's not to say there's no negative things happening. We're definitely having those at the same time. So never want it to be all sunshine and rainbows, because it is definitely not the case. And we talked about, so we did a funny show on Monday, for Marriage Monday, and it was titled, Am I the Unluckiest Person on the Planet? And we just talked about all the bad luck that I have and things like that. It was mainly joking, but all the examples we used were true. And come to find out, Monday, we didn't even know this when we were recording this, but on Monday, I would find out that my Chevy 1500 that I bought to start my business with, we still use it on the side sometimes. It's actually still, it was a great truck to have, but found out that the motor is about to blow up in it. And so, you know, you just get punched in the back, punched in the throat, wherever you want to place it. You just get hit, you keep getting knocked down, and we're just trying to combat and move forward with a bunch of wins. And that's what we're doing, because on top of the truck having the blown motor, that truck, the box truck was just in the shop, had to do $1,200 worth of brake work on that thing, 2 new tires, just paid $400 to get it aligned. So it just never ends. It never ends. It is what we have signed up for, to be entrepreneurs, though. And so I know all of you know that. We've talked about it on the show a lot, but I just want to be open. I want to tell y'all what we're going through, just so you're not the only, so you know you're not the only one. If you listen to the show with Grayson on Wednesday, then you will totally understand what I'm talking about not being the only one. And we made that very clear in that show, and I believe that it was super beneficial, because I think a lot of people out there kind of sometimes get caught up in that, and it's very easy to just be like, well, I'm the only one going through this. No one else understands, and just I'm in this by myself. And so it's easy to get down on yourself. It's easy really to slide into like a deep, dark depression. Honestly, if you get you're going to get burnt out. There's a lot of negative that can come from that. So I want to make sure that is never you. It's never the case. If you ever get to that point, shoot me a message, a DM, something like that. We'll talk it through. Find somebody else to reach out to if you don't reach out to me. But that is something that we all need to be checking up on, and making sure that we don't get burned out too fast, too easily. Everybody's going to get burned out at some point. That's not what I'm saying. Like, that is going to happen. When July the 30th, August 1st gets here, and it's 100 degrees, and the lawns are burnt, and you're not seeing the revenue you want to see, then it's easy for that to happen. But you just got to stick it through. And so, like in my case, when I keep seeing expense after expense after expense, it's easy to get burned out, but we're just working. We're still grinding. We're hustling, and we're seeing a lot of positives come through as well. So I haven't done a podcast yet since then, but on Wednesday, let's see, what is today? Today's Thursday. So yeah, on Wednesday, we went and actually got to pick up our first ever mini skid in our business, and we are so excited to put that thing to work. Super excited to put that thing to work. So I'll tell you a little backstory on why I got that, all the stuff that goes into it. Actually, I'm not going to do that on this show. We'll come back and do another show for that, and we'll probably honestly devote a whole show to that. So long story short, I had an Iron Rhino 1000. That's the model that we got. We're going to talk more about that down the road. Just long story short, I have bad rental situations. We have plenty of work. It needed to happen. And we'll leave it at that for today. Come back to next week. We'll talk about the whole process of buying the mini skid, why we got it, and things like that. We'll go into that a little deeper. So anyway, let's move on to today's show. And what I want to get into today to end the week out strong on a Friday. And I believe this is good, especially going into holiday weekend. Just kind of, well, is it still a holiday weekend even though the holiday's on Tuesday? I think it is. I think that everyone should just be off on Monday and work the actual holiday. Because, that's everybody wants everybody wants the day off. And so, I don't know. I say that out loud. That sounds actually really bad because it would say we're not observing actual Independence Day on the actual day, and everybody would be working. So I see both sides there. But my thought process is, hear me out, is that for working people, being off on Tuesday does no good. If it's on a Tuesday, then push it to Monday and have the extra weekend. If it's on Thursday, push it to Friday and be off Friday to Sunday. Don't just take off one day and then go back to work for a day. So now Wednesday, that's hard to do because you can't go one direction either way. But I hope that makes sense. I don't know, but you do need to. I do believe we should be taking time and actually observing why we are celebrating 4th of July. It's not just to shoot fireworks and drink beer and go on the lake. It is for our freedom and all of the stuff that's gone into that. Our Constitution, all of the things that make us who we are in America. And it's a scary America that we're in right now. It's one that has strayed far, far away from what its original founding fathers intended for it, but it's still the greatest country to live in. It's still affording us the opportunity to be able to do what we're doing right now. I still have the freedom of speech to put this out, say what I want to say. We have a great community of people who get to listen in and grow their businesses. And so we have the opportunity to grow a business, which is a blessing in and of itself right there. So let's get into today. What do I want to get into today? I want to talk about, if you read the title, now that we're 10 minutes in the show, but I want to talk about the importance of having route density. And you might say, why are you talking about this? We've heard this 1,000 times. I know it's important. Yeah, you might have. And if you have, you don't want to listen, go ahead. You can check out. You don't have to listen to the rest of the show. I think there's going to be some good stuff brought up in here, though, that you can probably learn from, even if you have heard it before. But the importance of route density in a lawn and landscape company. There are more ways than I can count. To talk about the importance of route density. And I'm just going to squeeze it into a few points tonight. And, as you can tell, I'm recording this at night. I'm actually recording this on my second 75 hard workout. So we're out walking, killing two birds with one stone, get my outdoor workout in, and recording a podcast at the same time. So I don't know if y'all can hear the bugs, the cicadas in the background, but that is nighttime in the summer in the South. That's just bugs everywhere. I got the woods around me. And so the cicadas are loud. And there's one bird that just keeps flying around the parking lot. I don't know what it is. But anyway, having route density in lawn care landscape company is something that will make or break your company. I'm a firm believer in that. I started off my business with terrible route density. There were literally times I was driving 50 minutes one way to do a lawn. And so with that being said, we did have a route. We weren't going up there for just 1 yard, but we were driving 15 minutes to our furthest yard and working our way backwards. And I justified that because, like I said, I had a route. I had a day out there. I look back on it, I still wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do it again if I had the opportunity, even though I did have a quote-unquote route out there. I had about 3/4 of a day of work out there. So I guess you could say we made it profitable. I'd have to go back and look at all the numbers. I don't remember. We probably weren't charging what we were supposed to be charging. I just remember that we were driving way too far. I had 3 guys in the truck driving 50 minutes. That is 3 man hours almost that I've spent. If you're charging $75 a man hour, do you realize how much money you just spent? $225 just to drive there. It costs you to drive there. Okay? Run the math on that. That's something that you have to sit back and look at when you're doing your drive time right now. If you're driving, maybe you're not driving 50 minutes, but the thing that I think people don't realize is the little 8, 10, 12-minute yards are the ones that actually will nickel and dime you to death. Because what happens is you'll have 2 guys in a truck, you and 2 guys, so 3 guys billable. Three guys on payroll, and y'all are driving. You're driving 10 minutes. Well, three guys for 10 minutes is 30 minutes because, you had so many man hours you have into it. So you have 30 minutes. It's half an hour. If you charge $75 a man hour, you are at, $33.50. Or no, that's not right. 35, 38. I don't know, $37.50. You're at $37.50. It costs you to drive 10 minutes. So, those are the things that you don't realize. They will literally nickel and dime you to death. You have to be able to be efficient, have tight routes. One of the other downfalls is you cannot provide the quality service that you should be providing for your customer. And you might say, how does a route affect the quality of service that I give? Here's exactly why. Here's what I'm talking about. So, example, and this is firsthand example. We've done this. We've actually dealt with this year. We had a lady who wanted her yard taken care of. Actually, she didn't want the whole yard cut. She just wanted some odds and ends stuff done, but she wanted it done on a regular basis. Well, the problem with that is she was about 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes outside of our existing route. So we'd have to go 8 minutes out of the way, 8 minutes back into the way to get back into the route. Originally, I was like, yeah, we'll do it. We did some stuff for her in the winter. We got some jobs. We made some very good money there in the winter. But she eventually asked to us to take over the lawn and do some odds and ends and then do the lawn. And so we did that, or we said we would. The issue was she lives in a neighborhood where the HOA cuts all the properties in there. They have one company that does it all. That company does a terrible job, absolutely terrible. And so she didn't want them cutting their yard anymore. And they still did. So we never actually got to cut the yard because they kept cutting it for her. Even if she told them no. But we still did some odds and ends stuff. And the issue with the odds and ends stuff is I wasn't making enough money to justify driving the 15, 16 minutes outside of the route. And that was adding to our day. Because like I said, if I'm driving 16 minutes, we'll call it 15 with me and two guys, or I'm not there and three guys going, then you're looking at, 15 minutes times 3 is 40 minutes, 45 minutes is what you have per, man hour wise. You cannot do that. You know how much money that costs to do that. And so it ended up eating away at profit. But aside from the profit, I wasn't able to service her correctly because I couldn't get her on a normal schedule. Because what would happen is we would be doing our route that day and we would be behind or something would get in the way and I'd have to put her off. And I would say, no, we can't do it today. It'll have to be next week. That happened 3 times. And the only reason that happened is because she was 15 minutes out of the way. No, she was 8 minutes out of the way, but 8 there, 8 back. And so that was going to add to our day. And 10 minutes at the property, that was going to add an extra 30, 40 minutes to our day. By the time everything was said and done, talk to her, do the work, see what she wants done. She's an elderly lady. And so long story short, I wasn't going to make enough to do that. But here's the thing. If she was inside of the route, then I would have been able to. And I wouldn't have lost that customer. So she texted me today and said she found somebody else, which was totally fine. I'm happy she found somebody else. Hopefully they can take care of her better. I don't want our reputation to keep getting messed up because we can't service her regularly. And that was what was going to keep happening. So I'm glad she found somebody else. I hope it works out for them and for her. I hope everything goes smooth and fantastic. No hard feelings at all. Works out better for us. But long story short, we weren't in there enough. We don't go out there enough. We weren't servicing and giving her the quality that she deserved as a paying customer. And that is on us, but it's simply because she was out of our route. So you have to take that in consideration when you're taking on a customer that is 10 minutes outside of your route. Are you going to be able on a jam-packed day to sacrifice 20 minutes of your day to drive there, drive back, plus we'll say 30 minutes on the lawn? So 50 minutes, almost an hour of your day for a customer that's out of the route. It's not a super high priority. You know what I mean? Why are you trying to grow things outside of your route? If you're not trying to scale your company and get into other cities, then why are you trying to expand your route like that? Shrink your route down. make it as tight as possible. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice I could give you, because I did that 2 years ago, and it's been a process. It has been a process. The last 2 years, I've gone down in yards. Like, I've downsized. This year's the first year we finally started picking back up. Our numbers started raising up again in the actual amount of lawns we're doing. Because the last 2 years, each year, we would cancel 5, 10, 15. They were outside of our route. They were bad yards. We didn't need them anymore. And that's just part of the learning process. But here's the beautiful thing. There's a lot of you guys that are starting new businesses that are doing that from day one. You're just not even taking them on, which is like so fantastic. Blake with Elite Lawns, we did a podcast, and that one's from last week. And I don't know if he said it in the show, but we were talking about it. His whole service area is within 9 miles. Like, he doesn't go outside of 9 miles. That is so awesome. Like, that's so fantastic. That's something that I would love to get to at some point. We're working towards that. We're trying to hammer down. We're not taking on any new maintenance outside of the city that we live in. Now, we'll take on landscape jobs, but we're not taking any new maintenance. And here's the thing that you also have to learn. You can't keep adding on even if it's to an existing route. So we have a route that currently runs. We have a couple routes outside of Trussville, like 2 days a week. We go outside of Trussville, and we go east, we go west. We don't really go north and south. We go east and west. And we'll go east, and we'll work our way back and go west, work our way back. And just because we have like one street that we stay along the way of, and it's miles long, but they're for 2 farms. We're doing it profitably, so I do know that much. But it's still just like, I don't want to be that far away, and we'll get to that in a minute. But don't try to add a yard just because you have a route. So if you have a route that's 20 minutes away and you have a good route there, maybe you have 8 or 9 on that day, but you could probably do 12 or 13. If you're trying to get out of that route and you want to move them all back to your hometown, don't add to that route. It's not complex. It's pretty simple. Stop adding to it. And I know it makes sense because you're like, oh, well, I can add to this. I can make an extra $60. It's already on the route, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't do that. Don't fill up your time with a yard that you don't need or want. Wait and save that spot for somebody who's inside your route that you want, inside your hometown. Like, make that a priority in your company that you're not taking on stuff you don't need. And you have to realize if you don't do that now, you're going to have to cancel them down the road. Like, you're going to take on a client to add into the route, and then when you try to cancel that route in 2 years or 3 years because you finally grown enough in your home city that you can justify getting rid of those, then you're going to have to cancel them. And, like, you would have just been better off never bringing them on in the first place. Because maybe it happens in a year, and then they're just like, well, that's annoying. They hired you, and now you're gone in a year. That's one thing that I get the most from customers when they sign up is they say, I want somebody who's going to be here for the long run. I don't want somebody who's going to be jumping around. I don't want to find a new company next year. The majority of our clients that we have, aside from our new ones, like, we don't really have people cancel unless they move. Like, I could count on one hand the amount of people that have canceled because we messed something up. Like, we weren't providing good enough service, things like that. Price, that has happened over time. But majority, it's just moving. It's just moving away, and sometimes price. Like, they just want a cheaper option. And so that I can't control that. But we're doing good quality work. If we mess something up, we have extremely good customer service and we take care of it. We'll give discounts if we mess something up, things like that. We'll make it right. And so that's just what I'm saying. Don't add a yard to a route that you don't want, even if it fits in the route. Just make that decision. Go ahead now. Decide in your mind. If somebody calls me outside of your city, outside of Austin, that's a massive city. That shouldn't count. Outside of, for me, Trussville, I don't take on anybody outside of Trussville when it comes to mowing now. I just don't. Like, when I tell people in my networking groups and thing, I say, because people post in these Facebook groups all the time, looking for lawn care. And there's probably 6 different ones for all the cities around us that are all within 20, 25 minutes of each other. And I tell people, I say, thanks for recommending me, but don't recommend me anywhere outside of the Trussville group because that's where I want to be growing at. And so that's kind of what we've done. And you know what? You know what's kind of crazy is we don't really get calls for mowing outside of Trussville anymore. It's just how it happens. It's really weird. I couldn't explain it. I don't know. We're not getting much of reviews from people that live in Trussville. I really don't know what it is. But like when people call us now, I ask them where you located. I would dare say 90% of the time it's in Trussville. And so that's just like, I don't know. Now, it hasn't been that way the last 2 years. It's taken us 2 years to get our name here, to get established, to get people to know us. And now we're finally getting like established, well-known, and people trust us. And so that's kind of where we're at. But it's taking time. So back to the whole why route dense thing. You have to also go over the fact of what do you do when things break. This might be the number one reason, the number one annoying thing for me in having a route that is too large. We have dealt with this year because like I said, we still have a couple routes that are outside of our city that are about, if we're driving to our furthest yard on that route, it's probably about 25 minutes away, 20 to 25 minutes. And then we work backwards. But so I'm telling you, I'm being an open book here. Like, this is what we're doing. We're working through these as well. We're trying to get rid of those routes over time, but we have to first build a clientele basis here before we go canceling all of those. So that's where we're at. But the number one thing, I would say this might be number one in my opinion, is you don't want to be far away when stuff breaks. You talk about ruining a day. So let's just say your guys are out mowing. You've delegated. You're out of the field. Your guys are out mowing. You're going to the gym in the morning. You're doing office work. You're doing estimates. You're out on the estimate with a customer. You're walking a $10,000 landscape job with a customer. Guys are out mowing, and they call you, and they say, "Yeah, we blew a tire," or "Yeah, the mower broke," or "a blade broke," or "the belt broke." Like, whatever you want to take your situation, put it in there. Take your scenario. You do that. That will absolutely kill a day. So I'll take you back to a perfect example of what I mean by this. On that route that I just talked about, 20, 25 minutes away, they were at our furthest yard on that route. They were out mowing. I forgot what I was doing. It was the day that I was doing estimates or something. They called me, "Hey, truck won't crank." Great. Fantastic. If this truck was 10 minutes from me down the road in the city that we're servicing in Trussville, I could have ran over there, looked at it, would have messed with it, fixed it, moved on with our lives. It ended up being a fuse box. There was just a bad fuse in the fuse box. Our trailer lights were touching each other and they were canceling each other out. And so they were causing the fuse to blow, which was shutting the truck off. Blah, 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 blah. You don't really care about that. But that was the issue. So it didn't even turn out to be a big issue. Praise God. But what was the issue was that I was having to drive 25 minutes to go with them and to go help them. And that was just like so annoying. And it absolutely ruined the whole day. We had to go back out there 2 days later, or the next day, because they couldn't finish. It ended up being like a 2.5 or 3 hour process. By the time I quit what I was doing, ran, got the fuses, went, met them, looked at it, tried to figure it out, waited on the mechanic that I have a mechanic buddy who lived close by. He came out and looked at it. We tinkered with it for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, figured it out, put it all back together, and then drove it down the road, and it did it again. It died again. And we're like, oh my goodness. And so we finally figured out what it was for good that time. Just undid, did I say trailer lights? Brake lights. Undid the brake lights at that point because we just had to get through the day and get home. We just undid the brake lights totally, cut the wires, and so that got it working. But we were still, like I said, 30 minutes from home. And when I say this, like, you're working I remember what I was doing now, actually. Now I do remember. I said that example earlier, walking a $10,000 landscape job, just like tongue-in-cheek. I didn't know what I was talking, like I didn't remember what I was doing. That was the day I was actually walking our biggest job to date. I was sitting there with the customers, walking our biggest job to date we've ever done. I was meeting with them, walking the property, talking about what they're wanting to do. And I had to tell them I had to leave and come back and take a look another day because they were stuck sitting on the side of the road with a truck waiting on me. And it's like, that was so disheartening. It was just so like, oh, this is so annoying. This is such a bad waste of time. Like, we're just being so inefficient. We're being so inefficient. This is terrible. I'm losing money. Like, I lost money on the day. Now, thankfully, They were really great customers, or they're really great people that we met with. They weren't really customers at the time. We talked back and forth. We ended up closing that job. We're actually doing that job next week, which is so much like, it's such a blessing. I can't wait to do that. It's going to be our biggest transformation to date. We're doing 20-something pallets of sod, a lot of plants going in. Like, it's going to be a total makeover. The dingo, I shouldn't say the dingo, the mini skid's getting put to work next week. Very hard and super rough. So getting this thing put to the test to see what it can do. But that's what I was doing. And I remember that now. I was walking that job with them. And so I had to go help them and figure it out, all that. And it was just like so annoying because that whole day was just ruined. It was just ruined. Because then not only did I have to drive out there, and the thing was, I had to drive out there twice. So I went out there and fixed it, and then I moved on with my day. They went and kept mowing. Well, then it did it again. So I had to turn around and go back out there again. So I wasted an hour and a half to 2 hours of driving. You probably heard that bird now. I don't know. This thing's just like flying around me. But it was just so bad. It was such a bad day. But figured it out, thankfully. And that's just like, I don't want to be far away from home. I don't want to be far away from home when that thing happens. Because also, like, you have your friends. You have your local community. I have guys, if I was in Trussville and I was out of town or something, I could call up my buddy Bernard and say, Bernard, the guys broke down. Can you go fix it? I mean, can you go help them? Can you take the truck? The trailer messed up. Can you take my trailer tire? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I can do that and not feel bad because they're not messing up their whole day driving 30 minutes away. If that was the case. That's not the case when you're 30 minutes away. Like, you cost them time. You cost everybody time. So just take those things into consideration when you're looking at building routes and starting your company. Or even if you start your company and you're like looking at trying to increase efficiencies and just make your company better, make more money. Like, you don't have to increase sales to make more money. That's one thing that everybody has to remember and realize is, like, you don't have to grow the top line to make more money. To see more money in your bank account doesn't mean you have to grow the top line. You just need to grow the bottom line. And so top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity. You've heard all that. Everybody's heard that before in their life if you've been in business for any length of time. And so that's kind of where we're at. That's just what I wanted to bring you today. Like, just short and sweet episode talking about the importance of route density. It is key. You will run your business to the ground if you just end up getting too far out. If you get too stretched thin because you're all over the place, then it's just not going to work. With our new business, Brighter Bins, that we're starting, our trash can cleaning company, like, route density is number one priority in that business. Like, absolutely number one, because it's such a low ticket sell that we have to do a ton of cans to make any money. And so, like, we have to bring in a ton of customers and we cannot be having drive time. We just can't do it. So we're only servicing like 6 square miles, because that's just the population we're targeting. That's going to allow us to be the most profitable. And so that's what we're doing. And so I'm excited to see that grow. Hopefully it is going to challenge me. Hopefully I learn a lot and am able to transition that over into the landscape company in the years to come, so I can help make our efficiencies better as well. And also, like, there's the obvious things. There's the wear on your tires, the miles you put on your truck. You don't want to do that. The trailer tires, like pulling a trailer with 4 tires, that's just more miles on those, more things to get run over, things like that. Your oil, you have to change your oil more often in your truck. Your fuel bill goes up very quickly when you sit there and drive all over town. So all those little things, like, you don't think about how much fuel you're spending, how much money you're spending on fuel, but that will add up over time. You will end up spending too much on fuel, and it's going to get way out of hand. Your proportions are not going to be where they need to be, and you're going to start losing money. Not losing money, but like you might not go into the negative, but you will essentially start losing money because it's money that you should be putting in your pocket that you're putting in your truck. And so just think about these things. Make sure that they are on the top of your priority list when you are going through your year. You can do this mid-year. You can shrink your route. Now, don't just high and dry. Don't leave somebody high and dry. If you do have to cancel them because you're like, okay, this is the podcast that changed. Like, I'm not doing these yards anymore. I have to end. I've been needing to for 6 months. I have to do it. Listen to this advice, please. Don't leave them high and dry. That will ruin your reputation faster than anything. If you just say in the middle of July when grass is growing like crazy here in the South, if you say, I'm leaving, then that absolutely screws the customer, because 90% of reputable companies are already booked up and they don't have room for you. And so make sure you have a good referral partner that you can talk with and be like, hey, I've got to give these up. Do you mind taking them on? You can negotiate price and things like that. Here's what we were charging, just to give them a ballpark, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you have someone lined up to refer them to, because if you can do that, if you can have a good referral for them, then the whole process goes so much smoother. You end most likely on a good note, because they'll understand. Like, you just explain to them the situation. They'll understand. They'll appreciate the referral. They'll get signed up with them. Service will continue, and you'll be good to go. So that is the importance and the power of a good referral partner and a referral group that you can be a part of. Find guys that are local to you that some would say are competition. I would say they're friends. They are competition at the end of the day, yes, but it's okay to be a competition and be good friends. Look at Alex and Jacob of Turf Wars, two multi-million-dollar companies running within just a few miles of each other. They are competition. Yes, there's no denying that, but they're also best friends. And look at the relationship they've built, how much I'm sure their business actually probably help feed off each other. They probably have to help each other out over time. And so you just never know what's going to come up, how you can take your business to that level and help somebody else, or just refer to somebody else. You can help somebody else grow their business. And so, like for me, the route that runs where I don't want anymore, I'm referring all that stuff to a young kid who's starting his company. And he's like still in high school. The company's doing great. He's growing. Just got him a new mower. Like, all that stuff's happening. And anything out there, I just send it his way. And I tell the customers, I say, here's this guy. He's starting his company out. He's trying to learn, he's grow, he's hustling. Give him a chance if you want. But that's a good referral for them. So, that's just where we're at right now in life and in business. Life is good. We have about 2 weeks up to 75 hard. It's been an awesome journey so far. My mental state has just totally changed. Everything about the process has been good. It has not been easy. It's definitely hard. It's a commitment, time, physical, mental, everything about it is a commitment and a challenge, but it's growing us. It's helping us be better people, better business owners, better entrepreneurs, better spouses, everything in every aspect. I feel like we're learning and growing. So hope you guys are as well. Hope you enjoyed this show. I know it's kind of a little bit, hasn't been super high tempo, upbeat, all over the place. I don't know. I think there's some value in it though. I hope that you thought that way. It's something that is near and dear. Route density is key. It's easy to talk about, and then just like forget about it. Like you almost get, it's almost talked about so much. It's kind of like know your numbers. It's talked about so much that you just like get complacent with it. Don't let that happen. Make sure you're keeping your route as high as possible. And I believe your business will truly flourish in the future if you can do that. So find good people around you, build you a good referral partner, and I think you'll be heading in the right direction. Y'all have a great holiday weekend. We'll speak to you on Monday for a Marriage Monday, most likely. And who knows? I don't know what we're going to get into, but Marriage Monday has been great. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and supporting us along that journey. Have a good holiday on Tuesday. Don't work too hard. We will not be working on Tuesday because customers don't like that. If you are working on Tuesday, just remember that people are probably going to be having parties in their yards and things like that. So maybe knock out some commercial stuff if you can, but don't schedule a bunch of residentials for Tuesday just because people are barbecuing. They don't want you mowing their grass. So, and you don't want to take a drive out there and then realize, oh, they don't want the grass mowed. So anyway, I hope y'all just keep crushing it, keep growing in business and in life. We're here to help you any way we can. I will say this at the end. So really quickly, if you want to save some money on Equip tickets, you can use our code GG50. We'll save you 50% off of registration. Should put you at like $12.25 or $12.50 for a ticket, I think. We do get a little bit of a kickback off that, but it's just helping you save money at the end of the day, helping you go to the largest trade show in our industry. It's a great time. Go ahead and pre-register though. Like early registration is open. What you don't want to do is wait and then pay at the door or even pay after early registration. It's just ridiculous how high the prices get. And also, you need to get your ticket today. Use that code, whatever. If you don't use the code, it's fine. But I'm just trying to save you money. Like, why would you pay $25 when you can pay $12.50? So it's kind of a no-brainer. But you do need to get your hotel. book your hotel if you're going to equip. Like yesterday, they're filling up very, very quickly. They're already getting very, very high in price. So make sure you have those ducks in a row if you're going to your first year. We might do a show on equip here in the near future, just talking about like what we do, what the schedule looks like, all of that stuff. But also, I'm offering consulting calls. I haven't really pushed those very hard just because I just haven't. But if you're at a point in business where you just want somebody to kick ideas off of, give you feedback, I have done it for 5 years. Like, this is my 5th year in business. So I haven't been doing it for 15 or 20 years, but I've been doing it long enough to know a few things here and there. I've talked to a lot of great guys that have been doing it longer than me. I've retained a lot. I've learned a lot from them. And so I would be happy to help you in any way I can. They're very, very nominal. You can go to the link in the show notes today, and it will say my stand store, I think is what it says, the link. I don't have to check that and see if I can customize it, but I'll know what I'll do. I'll put coaching call and then dash, or consulting call dash, and then there'll be the link. So go look at that. It's very, very, I think it's like $95. Get on there, get on the phone, talk for an hour, hour and a half at the, can't do 2-hour calls. Try to keep it between an hour and 15 minutes. But we did one the other night, and it was just fantastic. Like, the guys are already taking action. I don't want to talk, because they're also private. So like whatever you tell me is going to stay between me and you. It'll never go out to anybody else. We're just trying to help you grow and get better. And so if you want to do that, then just feel free to click the link, register, and we'll get in touch and get a time booked. So excited to be offering that. I just want to help give back. Like I said, I haven't really promoted it that much. I don't want you to think I'm just like trying to sell you and gyp you on that. It's just really just to cover my time, because everybody's time is valuable, and so you got to make the most of it. But I want to give back as much as I can. I try to keep them to where anybody and everybody that is starting in whatever stage in business you are, you can afford it. Let's hop on the phone, talk, bounce ideas, give you a little bit of insight. It's nice to have somebody with an outside perspective. Sometimes when you're in the grind every day, you don't even really see things. So getting some advice, or just talking to somebody who's outside of that, gives you a little bit different perspective. You can make a few different decisions. I think that'll help you. So like I said, the one we did last week, we did it this week, action's already being taken. The business is going to be changing for the better, I truly believe, here in the next couple months, honestly. So I can't wait to see what happens there. But I think that is going to wrap this show up. I don't want to ramble on any longer. Just wanted to bring those things to you. It's just such an honor and joy to get to do this thing each and every week. Thank you so much for tuning in and following along with us. It means the world, because with you here, it just helps us grow the community one relationship at a time. So without any further ado, that's going to wrap this episode up from our walk to finish our 70-hour hard workout for the outdoor. Thanks for tuning in. We won't have too many more of these, maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we'll be done. We'll give you a debrief and all that. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and hope you have a great weekend. We look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.